what can I do on a daily basis to stop war?
Yeah, well, it's beingness. I mean, we have to be conscious. We have to be present. Because when does shooting or drawing your sword ever end a war? It doesn't. We need to realize that first, that how the system is appearing is broken. So if we want to change the system, you have to understand you're a manifestation of that system. So you're going to change it from the inside out, which means you have to be realized. In order for this world to change, be realized. It's the greatest gift you can give this planet, this realm. So first realize what you are, and then realize all trouble comes from the human mind. All of it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Going Out Looking In, the podcast about the big questions of life, personal growth, and spirituality. My name is Maxi, I'm your host, and today we are taking a look behind the curtain. Behind the curtain of the powerhouse of a woman that is Anna Brown. All of you beautiful listeners know that Anna and I shared time and space before in an interview here at Going Out Looking In, back then online, my old apartment, my old life, quite frankly. And so much has happened since then, actually for Anna and myself. So I'm recording this out of beautiful Los Angeles, California. It's just, as always, just sunny and warm. And that this interview was conducted about 1.5 weeks ago at Anna's house, in fact. And I had the honor and the privilege to be the first ever person to record a live interview with her, especially a live interview at her house, at her very newly acquired and now soon to be opened Satsang garage. A place to meet in the flesh, a place of community, a place of gathering and coming together to realize who and what we truly are. So there is a lot, there's as always lots and very little to say. I feel so blessed to have those conversations in that capacity, and my intention going into this conversation in particular was to meet Anna, and also to therefore for you to meet her in a, as far as today, unseen capacity and quality. So my intention was really going in to focus on the human, on also a little bit of story around her, and about the interconnection of the teachings of non-duality and the teachings of Anna and this 3D rendering manifestation of it. She has 2 beautiful daughters. She has a partner whom she's living with, and so she's a family woman, right? She's a mother, she's a daughter, and so just worldly things are taking place in her life as well. And I wanted to meet a little bit more of that, and rather than only speaking about a topic, I wanted to explore from where she's speaking, and I'm delighted. I'm stoked about how this episode turned out to be, this conversation. It was a beautiful dance between going to those places of her personal story, while at the same time, talk about what it truly is. Because, and that is also something that I found for Anna to be very important, is that is like, we all don't want to get attached to a story of someone, because we write our own story, right? And at the end of the day, we're all one. So the story and the personal history of someone, no matter how inspiring they are, that's just this incarnation, this little sort of splinter of God's creation in that moment. And that's beautiful, and we can talk about it. But what often happens is that we get attached to this story, right? And then we compare and we relate or not relate and all of those things, but they distract from the actual message of what is being said. And I think Anna and I feel that we both sort of very well danced within those two worlds back and forth, and that led to this beautiful conversation. I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here on the channel, look around. There's, like I said, already an interview with Anna, so many other people on the podcast. I'm honored to share space and time and my presence with those beautiful people, and also you as an audience. So subscribe, and follow. It's just a little click, it's just a little something, but it makes, for us creators, a massive difference. It really does. And I can only speak for myself, but I'm pouring my heart and soul into it. So if it really resonates with you, even just a little like on the video, or like share it to a friend, it really would mean the world to me. With all that being said, I wish you, as always, beautiful insights and much, much love from my heart to yours. Namaste. This conversation with Anna. Okay, so
Are we recording right now?
Yeah, it's always record, but like
I'm like, are we? I don't know. Okay.
But I'll always basically, let it roll, and then I see wherever is like a suitable point of entry or the conversation.
Okay.
And my system has not even caught up yet. Like,
it's totally cool.
Where I am and what's happening. It's like,
I get you.
So much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like to, start the
Sometimes
interview,
you gotta talk for a minute too.
Having the feet on the ground, just like being grounded. Exactly.
Smelling the air.
That's it. Actually, a little bit of goat.
You smell that goat? Yeah. The goat.
Yeah, I'm looking out and I'm seeing the fall colors change. It's beautiful. The drive here has been actually very, very scenic, I gotta say. These like
the hills and the rock outcroppings. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's actually very beautiful. And like, I would say like 1.5 hours, I got off the main freeway, highway, whatever. And then it was just like this super scenic drive, sun setting, music on. It's just like, and especially with that thing, like it's just like this whole like living room, like driving around. But it got me really set up for this, like this whole journey, like meeting the people in like, in the flesh is a whole different cup of tea.
Hell yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
And you'd just be surprised to, sometimes you're surprised, sometimes you're not surprised at all. You're just like I've known this person.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
Yeah. Doesn't feel.
There's no edge. There's no like weirdness.
I mean, I'm talking to, like I'm making an I statement, but don't know how you feel about it.
You're making a what? What'd you say?
I'm making an I statement, so I'm like,
no.
that's how it feels for me.
But
I don't know
just
how.
feels open. It feels like home. It's what it feels like.
Right.
Yeah, that's the presence. It's beautiful. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to like set the stage and acknowledge that I am here, that this is actually really happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, yeah, I'm certainly slowly getting into realizing, so my heart and my soul have sort of always knew, I feel like, and they have been like instantaneously been catching up with what is actually happening in my life and the growth and expansion that I'm experiencing, whereas my mind is not. Basically, it's like sort of like dragged along with it, and it's sort of like a little bit always behind, and then it will have a lot of stories, and it'll have a lot of putting things in relation and making them not seem as marvelous as they actually are. And so this whole trip, and now the meeting with you in your Satsang garage, your new project here, feels like a dream to the mind. And yet when I'm tuning in and feeling, it feels like home. So this like discrepancy, I feel like is telling us maybe a lot about the human experience.
Well, it is. It's very surreal. It's very dreamlike. You know, as we're here in each other's presence, I mean, it's palpable, it's potent, but it's still surreal. And I don't know if you can sense that with it, but all of this is very surreal. It is a dream. It's a waking dream. You know, Anna and Maxie talking, a waking dream. Yeah. Dancing in this energy, but it all still plays out where it looks like there's this unfoldment of Satsang Garage and you're here from Germany and we're talking, but it's like it's still the energy and the frequency of home, no matter if you're in Germany or wherever you are, you know. Yeah, so you're just feeling yourself. It's not my energy, it's not located to here, it's us, you know.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So as we've also briefly talked about, there has been a lot has been said and shared about truth, I guess, of this human experience and what it is, what it isn't. And in theory, we've understood, I think, a lot. I certainly think I understood a lot. And then there is life.
Yeah. And this kind of takes all of your concepts and understanding away. I mean, you could say it's an intuitive understanding that you melt into. It's just not a mental understanding. And the intuitive understanding that's the frequency of home that you feel. That's a natural understanding. That's why you can feel at home wherever you go. But the mind can't get this. It just can't, because you're right, it wants to compare, and me and you, there's separation and all of that. But yeah.
So being here in a physical space, which some may
Seemingly
consider
in a physical. So it appears that we're in a physical space, but we are dwelling in beingness. Our essence is appearing as this, though. So we're feeling into ourselves, even though, yeah, there's Maxie, there's Anna, that this energy that we feel is the presence, is the home.
So I'm asking you, what is home for you?
Being conscious. Being conscious inside of a body that was littered with unconscious programming. And now I can be at home even if there is some pollution that arises, some old distortions or illusions, but that's home. That's what home is being conscious or having your heart open. They're the same thing to me.
So what does this place here physically mean to you?
It's a representation of my heart. This is a representation of my heart. It's an energy where beings can come and instantly they're going to feel like they're at home and accepted, and they're stepping into a living room, the living room of the heart.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like the two worlds coming together of mind and body, and like it's actually also something that I'm personally very interested in, like this sort of, okay, so how can I transfer the teachings, how can I transfer the wisdom into showing up every day, also with people with lesser of an understanding of those things. So how does a day look like for you? A day in the life of Anna, like what can we imagine, you know?
Well, I mean, every day I take time, because I've got kids, but every day I take time to be in my heart. I sit in silence and stillness. I look at the stars in the morning. I put my bare feet on the ground. I just make sure I'm connected to my heart and I'm conscious. You know, that's what I do every day, and I carry that energy into my day. And it looks like I'm saying it's unfolding over linear time, right? And that's
So
what
like-
it appears
like
as.
morning-
Right, but timeless awareness is always here. Okay, and that's why we can always fall back into it. But you're getting your time-bound body in alignment with that timeless awareness, basically. The time-bound body has the habits, and it wants you to go to all of these different places and spaces. That's why taking time first thing in the morning and just be conscious, be with your body, be with your heart, be with your breath. And that's really all you have to do, is stay conscious inside of your temple.
Is there like a specific practice you use to do that?
Stay aware of your breath. I mean, if you're aware of your breath, you're conscious. You're here if you're conscious of your breath. I mean, you have to be. If you're aware of your breath, you're totally here. And that stabilizes you with your body. Your body's always wanting to leave into imagination or thoughts or the past or the future, which is not groundedness. You know, there's not a stability there. But once you start to feel more and you're breathing more, you're not thinking as much. You're just not. So if you're aware of your breath, you can't really be boom, 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 boom thinking.
Yeah, I get that. I get like I love breath work for that very reason, and yoga as well. So.
But I will add too, though. Sometimes I just like to turn on music and sing and dance. That's also something I like to do. You know. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, which all makes you not be somewhere else, essentially.
Yeah, it's just whatever gets you here, whatever gets you in alignment with your presence, your heart, your energy. I mean, whatever that is for you. That could be rock climbing. It doesn't have to be lotus.
So there will be, and that being said, so there will be, or will there be times when you're unconscious, or like you lose that presence?
You could say I'm in between conscious and unconscious. It's like a space in between. I'm not awake, I'm not asleep. It's hard to explain what it is because I'm neither here nor there. It's because nothing's actually solid or real. It's in between. So it's like, that's why memory, I don't have like a linear time memory, and things are very swirly and spiral, and it's all happening now because there isn't the tracker in me anymore. That keeps bringing in yesterday, that keeps bringing in what happened 5 minutes ago. So there's this constant refresh. You know, there can still be these little pieces, but it's nothing like when we felt like a human, where everything is rooted in time. Everything is a reference point into time for our stability of an identification. So that's just not there anymore. So in a way, everything's like at the beginning of a movie. How did I get here? I don't know. How did I get here? I don't know. There's this interesting surrealness to life. It's clear it's a dream. That's all I can say.
What does surrender mean to you?
Surrendering to the energy you want to see in your life. That's true surrender. Like, what vibration do you want to embody and see? And don't surrender until you're in that energy. Because a lot of beings will surrender to their depression. They'll surrender to their OCD. They'll surrender to their anxiety. They just give up, which they think is surrender. Like, I'm giving up. I'm just giving up. But true surrender is really a giving in to your goodness and your power and your worth. That's true surrender.
Going into your power and your worth.
Which is awareness. Which is what's looking. Yeah. Giving into that instead of fighting with our limitations. Like, I can't do it. I have trauma. I'm a victim. But yesterday, but she, you know? We fight for our limitations. Right? Like, we do. And it's so much easier to just dive in or surrender into the power. It really is. And that's what our suffering is. It's saying, dive into your power.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you do it, you're back in your joy, you're back in your bliss, you're back in your contentment, because all of the struggle and the suffering was your resistance to heaven now.
Yeah, it's like I totally hear what you're saying, and like it's funny because like I'm gonna be like after here I'm gonna be heading further east. I'm going to head to Florida. I'm gonna see Michael Singer.
Cool.
My like teacher, if you want to say so, my guru, just my hero. And this is what he talks about a lot, is surrender and the true meaning of it, and the dichotomy and the actual meaning and the what it does not mean. Meaning giving up and like this sort of
the white flag.
Exactly, like surrender. And I think, a point that has to really be made is that it will potentially mean to surrender into a highly, on a human form, uncomfortable situation.
Sure, it could be. I mean, because in order to transform anything or alchemize anything, you have to suffer consciously. Like, you have to be conscious with that pain or that depression or that anxiety to see that it's not really you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's alchemy. Yeah.
Do you have what would be how is that journey for you? What did you surrender to in order to, like you say, alchemize pain?
Well, when I was 7 or 8, I had a glimpse. I had this deep, deep inspiration to repeat my name like a mantra in bed one night. So I just kept saying Anna, 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 until Anna broke down. Like, I didn't even know what Anna was. Who's Anna? I didn't know what it was. It was just a concept. And all that was left was awareness. There was just looking, no thought, no emotion, just crystal clear looking in my bed. And it was so natural. It was so organic. But what came back was mind, conditioning, anxiety, depression, OCD. But that's what catapulted me. That was my catalyst onto what we call this pathless path. I didn't ask for it. It came to me, you could say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very similar. I agree. Like, the catalyst for change is pain, oftentimes.
Oftentimes. But I mean, that wasn't pain. That was just, it just disappeared.
Yeah,
but the pain was the conditioning. It's always the conditioning that brings pain. Awake, or what's awake, the awareness, what we really are, is not in pain. It's the clashing of the belief system that brings the pain, the unconscious pain, because we can still have physical pain, like you getting hit or something, but all mental suffering comes from a clashing of a belief.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So, like, actually, when I'm looking at, so this is, I think, where really the rubber hits the road. So
we're getting warm. We're warmed up.
We understand. I understand that like so perfectly. I just understand it. Like I get it, and I think so many people have understood it as well, and they want that desperately. They want that in their life for sure. And then there is the beautiful vessel of the body, right? It's happening. It's here, and so I don't know. I've seen you dancing as well, and I've seen you use this vessel, and it brought two such like cute little humans into this world as well, like in such a miraculous way. So I want to ask you that, like, what did motherhood introduce into your life?
Oh my gosh, growth. Like, I had to grow. Totally. I had to look at all of those conditionings and spots that were tight, because it forces you to grow. You either stay the same or you grow. So there was no option really, because suffering catapulted me into change, into growth, and to make conscious choices, that were better for my own body and for her, because she's an extension of myself. So it was a catalyst too. Having kids was a catalyst. It just drives me deeper, 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 deeper into being conscious, and making more conscious choices.
Like, for example?
Self-love, the power of self-love. and sharing that with my girls, and how that they can be equipped with that from an early age now. Like I didn't have that, right? In the story of Anna, it was more my mother hated herself, so I took on that conditioning. So I have the opportunity with my girls for them to be treated like royalty. Like, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're intelligent, you're creative. You know, it's a completely different angle. So I guide them now into loving their bodies, because they're going to go up against frictions at schools and their own little paths, you know what I mean? But I can equip them, so to speak, with the armor of heaven, the armor of love, the armor of God, which is understanding that everything they need is in their hearts, but they also have to voice out loud what they need, also care for their bodies, be able to make eye contact with yourself in the mirror. So I guide them into these things now. So that's what it did. It was a catalyst for growth and for re-educating humanity into self-love.
Do you feel like we as a, like, I'm not there yet, but like there is a, like, you can learn parenthood, like you can learn how to parent? Is there something to be learned, or is it for you, or for, like, how is it for you? Does it come intuitively?
It's both. It's totally both. There's some things like I don't even understand what, you know, and then times it's just like, I just know what to say and when to do it. So it's both, you know, just kind of like in daily life. Do you know how to change a tire? Maybe not, but you can learn that, right? Right? But you may also be intuitive about it. Like, it's easier for you to pick up than somebody else. So that's all I can say is when you're conscious and you're present with your kids, you see yourself in them. So naturally, you're not manipulating, you're not trying to control, it just comes from a deeper space. But there's still like, hey, let's learn this together. Let's read this book together. I don't know what that answer is. Let's look it up together. So there's still curiosity, exploration, and growth together. And that's the paradox of this. You know, it's a total paradox that there's something already timelessly perfect within us, and it's so perfect. It wants to play in this imperfect realm where we have kids and different genders and faces, and it's very interesting for it because we have an experience of what feels like growth. Now, in reality, there is no growth. We're perfect. It's stabilized. It's unmoving. That's the timeless awareness. But what's interesting about this dream realm of humanity is we can have an experience of growth, of hot, cold. I was sick and now I'm healthy. I was pregnant, right? Vomiting, and now I'm not, right? So that's what's interesting for consciousness. And if you can feel into your body, consciousness, you, the one source, talks to yourself through like the goosebumps, through that energy moving through your body, and it's like, duh. That makes sense, right? But we have to stay connected to the timeless presence within us so that we can, you know, move through this beautiful dream world in a more graceful way.
I was listening to The Way of the Superior Man yesterday on the way here, audiobook by David Data, one of the...
I've heard of him,
yeah, he is an amazing...
beautiful man.
Yeah, he understood a lot. And he talks about, a lot of like masculine, feminine, all that. And why this is coming up now, because he talked about for the superior man, to find purpose is very important. So basically, how do you find purpose? So, and what he says is more or less exactly that. It is stillness. Purpose cannot be found in the mind. It just can't.
No.
Because it's ever changing, and a purpose is not ever changing. It's
core.
It's core.
Like, it's core.
It is.
Yeah, it's with you from the genesis, so to speak, of your character.
And we cannot access that core when going to the mind.
Yeah.
So how do we facilitate that then? And then he's like really offering a lot of like practical examples to do so. Solitude, pure solitude, just like being with yourself.
Yeah.
In whatever way you can facilitate and make that happen, for a period of time until you hear that voice, basically.
Yeah.
And that was, it's always so fun. Like, it's so simple and yet obviously like so profound.
I know. It's both. Yeah.
How do you relate to like the feminine and the masculine within us? Is that a thing that is present for you? Does that make any difference for you? Does it affect you? Like,
It doesn't really affect me, but you can say we're both. We're positive and negative. We're darkness and light. We're everything and nothing, whichever way you want to look at it. But we're both. We're both. And some characters though will example more feminine, we could say, and some will example more masculine. But each character is perfectly designed. Like we all have our roles to play, so to speak. So life only wants to be you. That's why it's so vital, like you're saying, with your purpose, would be your passion or that thing that lights you up to fulfill that, be that. Because if not, we tend to suffer, and we suffer because we're not following our heart's passions or desires. Like truly, what lights us up.
what's that for you?
Talking about this. This being sarcastic, silly, dancing, all of it. But I mean, I feel like they all go together because I mean, there is real no separation. So the dancing is equivalent to this because it's all in celebration of just life, energy, the love, whatever the hell this is appearing that we call God. Yeah. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like we need more of in this world?
Stillness, silence. That's it. And it's already here. It's just more becoming aware of it. And as humanity looks within, has that courage to sit with itself, and then naturally we become examples. You know, we start to what looks like evolve. Humanity is evolving. Humanity is quickening. It's because more of us are recognizing what we are. Our true nature, our natural worth, our natural confidence, realizing we don't become that. We recognize it. And then recognizing that perfection starts to transform your body and your whole world. Because you're bringing it into this realm.
And what do we need less of?
I don't want to say that we need less or more of anything, because then we start setting up a whole new rule book, right? But we could say less seeking, less consumerism, because we don't actually need more things. All of that comes from the belief of I'm not good enough, you know, this lack belief. But once we realize we have everything we need within us as the source, we can gift ourselves whatever we need because we are the source of everything that manifests. Then we don't need the violence. We don't need to rape or pillage or destroy other characters, which are naturally ourselves. We can realize and re-educate humanity and understanding we can manifest what we need through our feeling centers. So I foresee that humanity will be going through a massive shift in consciousness where we'll just be re-educating our brothers and sisters instead of taking or having these hierarchies within form of so much have so much money while others have nothing. There'll be a sharing of the resources and understanding that we can all be leaders of change when we realize our awareness is the operant power.
Yeah, I mean, we need that. Just another war that being broken off the fence, like it just makes you. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel when you see something like that happening?
Well, the war has been going on since the appearance of humanity. We can go back to Cain and Abel. Who threw the first stone? You see? And it's easy to look outside of ourselves, but it's looking within where the war ends. And truly that's where it has to begin. It's really easy to go to blame everybody, to hate on the situation. But when we all look inside of ourselves and we start being leaders of change and agents of change, that's when our world starts shifting drastically. But we're all looking for a leader outside of us, like a politician or something like that, not realizing the in is the out is the in.
Yeah, it starts.
But I don't like war. No, it's not fun, obviously. We all had our own wars inside of ourselves, So what's the difference there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it says so much about. Throwing some, like the one throwing the stone. It says so much more about the one throwing the stone than it is about like where the stone is hitting the ground or what it is doing. I feel like it's just like it's just a reflection of where someone's at or where like a whole system is at or what, just a representation of we are at as humanity as well, I think, or some parts. And it just makes you, I'm using again I statement. For me, it's just like it makes me really dive into, what is it that I can do?
Right.
What if like because I am not like in the literal sense fighting with guns, but like what can I do sleeping in Hermitage in a or like in with my camper van somewhere, and connecting with individuals across the country. What can I do on a daily basis to stop war?
Yeah, well, it's beingness. I mean, we have to be conscious. We have to be present. Because when does shooting or drawing your sword ever into war? It doesn't. We need to realize that first, that how the system is appearing is broken. So if we want to change the system, you have to understand you're a manifestation of that system. So you're going to change it from the inside out, which means you have to be realized. In order for this world to change, be realized. It's the greatest gift you can give this planet, this realm. So first realize what you are, and then realize all trouble comes from the human mind. All of it.
And yet we have one, right?
No, we don't. If you're unrealized, you do. If you realize there is no mind, there's just thoughts that appear. Now, if you're a person, you have lots of memories. And that's what makes you think there's linear time, but there really is no linear time.
Yeah, there's just moments of presence, as Eckhart Tolle says it. Like, I think he says something like, he's like, there is no time. Like, it's so funny because like you read The Power of Now and it's not just like each sentence is just like a big statement.
Oh, no, totally. The wind just blew through my hair. What the? Whoa.
Yeah. And he will just like say something like, time is an illusion. And then he will be like, that is because there is only moments of presence.
What?
And then it'll be like, so the past is just like, it's the past. Oh, it's not the past. It's actually like all of your past have been moments of presence.
Yeah, I get. Well, it was all little nows, is what you would try to say.
Little
yes,
nows.
That can sound confusing, but yes, that's what makes it seem like time's real. That was memory.
That you can read. Yeah.
Right. So my guidance is fuck memory. Detach from your memory, because it's only you that's fancying it. Yeah. So we fall asleep in our memories. We literally go, oh.
So I would like. This is like a question I loved. I will ask that. I will ask Michael Singer the same one. Like I'm like, so why is this all set up that way then? Like in the first place, because clearly a lot of people, as you said, like are not realized and they don't see. Seemingly
within the dream, it seems that way. But everyone is really awake. Like everyone really is awake. Awareness is totally awake. But of course, this dream of asleep and awake, it's all part of the phenomenon of consciousness, meaning that part's not real either. So even the I'm awake, I'm asleep, it's still a game. That's why everything starts to get very simple and silent. Like you're all playing a game with yourself. You set it up with your projections, your thoughts, your emotions. You're creating your own rodeo. That's all I can say. So you have to look at your own consciousness if you don't like the rodeo. And that means those who don't like war, you're going to have to look at the war in your own body. Okay? Because what is the difference with you hating yourself and then the war next door? There is no difference. So we must look at the war that's happening within our own homes, our own neighborhoods first, our own psyche first. All right, which means we got to be conscious. We must detach from those thoughts and emotions and also bring in loving awareness. Like compliment yourself, love yourself, appreciate yourself. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. No one is going to come do it for you. You're going to have to be your number one fan and cheerleader if you want to see this and if you want to abide in this and be sovereign. You really do.
Everybody wants to save the world, but nobody wants to do the dishes.
Yeah, amen. All right. Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, what can we do?
It's always out there.
Yeah.
But the out there is not real. I know it's extremely convincing. It's gorgeous, but all you're looking at here is your shadow. I mean, it's you. It's one.
It's extremely convincing.
It's extremely convincing. It is. It is extremely convincing until it's not anymore. And that's all I can say. Because here's the thing. Reality is as rigid as your consciousness. Otherwise, it's all water and it's malleable, pliable. You can form it, shape it, get rid of it. It's like putty in your hand. It starts to become like putty. play with it.
I've briefly met your partner, and I'm curious on how your state of being, your level of awareness, the place that you live and navigate your life from, how does that affect? Does it affect at all? How does it affect your relationship with him, for example?
Oh, everything has to change and evolve because I don't settle. So, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, with anything, we naturally chose to consciously grow together. That's what it was. We came to a crosshairs where it was like, you know, we're either going to grow together consciously or we separate type of thing. And we chose to do conscious.
So, like, he's into this.
Oh yeah,
thing as
totally.
well?
He supports this all the way. Like he cut back on hours of work so that I could to make videos and write. He's helping with Satsang Garage. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're yin and yang for real.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's he balances me because he's very yin and I'm very yang, so I can help him with the yang side and he helps me with the yin side because I can get real flammable. So I need that water. So it's good.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the yin and the yang? Like, what does that mean?
He's a little bit more introvert. In me, naturally, I'm just I've since a child, just out talking. Let's dance. Let's do cartwheels down the sidewalk. Him, it's come on now. It's like that, you know. But it works so beautiful because again, I can be very solar. I can be very let's burn this down, kind of a scenario. And he's got that softness, which would we call the feminine, but he's a male character. So that's how it represents in this relationship, you could say. But relating in the sense of a human mind changes because when you're conscious with each other, I mean, you see the light in them. Like, it's like, I see you. I really see you, you know, so... Yeah, but there's conditionings that's breaking down and we're just going deeper together because we understand, we don't want to live like our parents live. We don't want to see that world either. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So would you say that, the partnership with him also like helps you to remember that?
I not remember because I know what I am, but I could say it helps me be more flexible. Just like my kids have helped me be more compassionate. Right? And see things from different angles too. It's the same thing. Because this is why too, if you hang out with a monk or someone who just spends them time in solitude, they can't really be social. They can't really hang out in like the normal, like, you know, they just can't get down. It's too, you're asleep. You know, get away from me. I don't know what to do here. And so it makes you really naturally in the world and yet not of it. So I don't feel like I have to stay away from the world. I got to part ways or I got to be so far removed. Having a family and a family life has deepened my integration. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's where the rubber hits the road, really.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can talk all the spiritual, beautiful stuff you want, honey. But, you know, when kids got an attitude or, you know, they're coloring on the wall, yeah. And there's a lot of colors on my wall, so.
So, yeah. So I want to bring up that little anecdote. So I think when I first reached out, I think it was not like, maybe you didn't plan on Satsang Garage as of yet, so it was not a thing yet. Yeah. And when I reached out and it was like, okay, so where can we do the interview? And it was like, probably gotta be like somewhere else because you're like, my house is full of animals and children. Yes.
It is. Yes.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Do you think there's something to be learned from, no, actually it's not a yes and no question, it's an open question. What can we learn from animals and nature?
Gosh. How to be still and quiet. I mean, they don't have an unconscious mind. They're just abiding in presence. You know, they don't have the ability like you and I to go to the past or use our imagination or be like, what would it be like if I didn't have white hair but brown? You know, like they don't have that ability. So they're just here. No self-consciousness, but they still have a character. You know what I mean? With preferences, they like to eat certain things. You know, they're kind of weird, some of them. And we're the same way. So that's why it's like you here talking with me. It's like... he mentioned earlier like how it's very natural and organic and everything because sometimes the mind puts this idea of like pedestals and things like that. But animals will show you enlightenment, awakening is like the most organic and natural thing in the world. You're just being yourself. Yeah. And that's what we learn from them. Be yourself, even if that's weird.
Do you believe in energies and frequencies?
Oh my God, that's all we're talking about. I am frequency. You're frequency. This is all that's appearing as a frequency or a vibration. And if you don't like it, you have to change your vibration, aka consciousness. It's all synonymous. All of it's synonymous.
So that mean when I'm transferring that to the relationship with, it's funny, with animals as well, I would say.
Yeah.
I think with people, places, and circumstances, and animals as well, that there seems to be a law of that attraction, right? So it seems to be like this sort of like, so I'm on a certain frequency, I'm on a certain energy, I'm on a level of consciousness, and that's what I'm attracting or repelling.
Yeah.
Would you subscribe to that?
You could say it that, or you could just say you can only see, taste, and feel your own consciousness. That's it. So it's never the other. It's never the other. It's always, we're always tasting our own perfume. Yeah. It's convincing though, because we see these other characters, right?
Yeah, and I mean, let's get real with like interpersonal relationship, romantic relationships. There's this whole notion of like, why am I constantly getting into these kind of relationships, for example, or like why is the relationship that I am in sort of not satisfying me, or like is lacking something? And when then using this concept, it's like, well, it's always like the mirror, you know? It's like,
it is, and it's a hard pill to swallow, folks. Okay, but if you're on this pathless path, and if you're listening to this message, okay, life wants you to deepen the relationship with yourself. Period. That's why your outside relationships suck, is because you've got to connect with the God in your heart as your own awareness. And once you fall in love with you, you become your own soulmate, then my God, like relationships will appear much healthier, more holistic, because you're not expecting something from the other one. Like you're fulfilled in yourself, right? Which naturally you call forth in the outer. But if we're still insecure inside, what do you think is going to happen on the outside?
did you have to let go of a lot when maturing on this path, or like when realizing more?
Yeah, I mean, I had to let go of my own ideas and controlling and manipulations, that type of thing, letting things be as they are, and also understanding that most of the things that were appearing was because of the argumentations in my own consciousness, like how I was talking to myself in private, my own imaginings. So, for example, like we were just talking about relationships, there'd be fights or arguments or just things wouldn't align smoothly like you would want them to, like your intention is, because we didn't know in secret we were using our imagination or our memories against us, like regurgitating a past fight or regurgitating how they used to behave instead of seeing them fresh and new every moment, letting them have that opportunity to be born again, because that's what we do with our minds. It's like, oh, they were such a jerk, they're going to be a jerk again, but we're actually writing our next chapter with that. Whoa. And I did enough of those to understand that. The Bill Murray Groundhog Day, we looped it again. Why does this keep happening? Oh, I'm not changing. That's why. That's why.
How would you describe the relationship to your parents?
Oh, it's open, but it's not codependent. It's not personal. We come together, we do our things, and then we kind of go on our ways. I used to try to change them, though. I bought The Power of Now for my mom for Mother's Day, like 6 years ago, something like that. It collected dust. So I tried that whole rodeo, right? That thing, and it didn't work. So it's now a natural live and let live. They don't really ask questions about what I do or anything like that, but I show up for family events. We're open. We're on good terms. It's just, I don't spend a lot of time with them because they're not very inspirational. That's all. But we can get down. You know what I mean? I can hold space with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
Oh, there's no hard feelings for them. I mean, their conditioning is their conditioning. It's not their fault, If they're not aware, they don't have a choice. And there's not an awareness in my mother and my father, so how can I blame them? I forgive them for they don't know. Like they really don't know. They're unconscious. So I can only be the example. So I hold the space, and I don't expect them to change. I enjoy my own presence.
Do you have siblings, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So I have 2 sisters and a little brother. Yeah.
What are they like?
Well, they're not into any of this. Now, my youngest, he is autistic, so he's a little bit more open. You know, we can talk about some things, but not at this depth. You know, we don't really talk too much about this.
Right.
Yeah. But we can flirt with it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing too deep. But that's okay. Like, I don't need them to change for me to be okay. And that's what's in awakening or realization. You know, you're just like, I don't need anyone to change for me to be okay.
Which would often be a very like intuitive or like a reactive thing to do, right? It's like,
Right.
I tasted the waters of consciousness, awareness, whatever you want to call it, and I want everybody else to drink from that source.
Right. But that's just one part of your little, whatever you want to call it, breaking down of your belief systems. Is you really do get to a point where you realize you are the other, and you summon forth out of the other how deep you know yourself. It goes deep. It goes so deep. So you can only really meet the other as deep as you've met yourself. So I can only meet you, Maxie, the appearance of Maxie, as deep as I've met myself. But I know myself. I know I'm the light, so I can see you as light. I know what you are.
Yep.
Yeah. And that can be felt. Like, there's a palpable sense feltness of that when you're with someone who knows what you are.
Yeah, and I guess that's called some sort of like attraction, sympathy, things like that, right? It's like, so why am I feeling... Yeah, it's like I have to use words. We have to use words.
You're fine, yeah.
So it's like, why does it feel like home? Why does it feel like...
Because I'm not expecting anything from you. I'm just literally just the space. I am the space. I am that open door. And so you're just here with me. And because my subconscious isn't unconscious in the sense of like, he needs to be like this. Why isn't he asking me this? Why is he looking at me like that? There's none of that shit going on. So telepathically, I'm not confusing you or pulling things from you, because energetically we're always telepathically communicating with each other, even if there's just a thought form, an emotion. So if you're clear, naturally the other in your presence will have to kind of open up into that vibration, or they go away. That's just physics. So that's why in satsang, when we're together in satsang, it's like all my problems disappeared, right? But then you leave the space of satsang or the meeting and you're like, oh my God, my girlfriend's calling me, fuck. You know, and then everything comes back in. This is just the taste of home. Like, we're just showing you what's inside of you. But of course, you're going to meet your old unconsciousness when you step out, so to speak.
Yeah, so now that you've mentioned that, what's this going to be all about here?
We're going to talk about breath. We're going to talk about what's appearing. Everything we're talking about, like in this interview, is going to be discussed here. We're breaking down the illusions of time. And if you've noticed from the beginning of the conversation to where we're at now, it's changed in energy. And the conversations, it's shifted. It's getting more pointed. Yeah, it's going to be just like that. So everything's going to start dismantling. Beliefs will start collapsing. And we'll get to such a simple point. Words will have to break down because we're going to be so conscious. We'll just be staring at each other. So it's gonna be like
it's gonna be 30 people in silence, potentially, just being.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So.
But of course, you know, life likes to throw in a spice where someone doesn't go silent, right? There's always someone who's throwing their fist with a message. You got to keep it interesting, right? There's always an antithesis in the dramas and the plays. So that goes on. Like, I have trolls who come into my work or the message, but who cares? So that's what I mean by... There will always be silence in here. Because in my private session spaces, sometimes it's combative in the sense of resistance. Not always. But obviously that's what it's going to be about. Doesn't mean it will happen, though.
Yeah.
Right? They're stubborn characters. We know that.
Yeah.
But...
You know, throwing the stone, it's like, it says a lot about them, I think. Or not, I think. It is like...
It's okay,
though. Yeah. It says a lot.
Just dodge that. Yeah. We'll dodge the stones.
Yeah, and I've noticed you doing that just like also by commenting, you know, when people are like they throw stones, and then it's just like, okay, so how can you and how like interact with them at all, or like gift them something, or
It's always intuitive based. I don't reply to every comment, but sometimes it does. It always comes from the stillness, though. It's a re-education. It's always a re-education. And I can tell you example. There was one example on a YouTube comment where there was a natural re-education, super loving and compassionate, but they came back with kind of a fuck you energy, right? But then later they came back again and apologized and said, thank you for showing me that. So it can go both ways, but I understand the human mind and belief system, so a fuck you thrown in my face isn't a big deal. I get it. It's part of the process, you know? Someone's got to do it, right? Someone has to do it. I'll take an F you. It's okay.
What does this whole thing, like the community, the people resonating with what you're doing, the thing you've built, you've been like talking about this for a while, and it's coming to a 3D manifestation of that, and like I'm very excited for you to see where that is going. What does that mean to you?
It doesn't really have a meaning to it. It's just whenever I tuned into why I wanted to do Satsang Garage, I actually asked myself that question because I sat with this for a while and it just kept popping up repeatedly. And I asked myself, I said, why do I want to do Satsang Garage? And all I got as a response was my heart center opened with bliss. And that's it. That's it. For the love of it. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like some a child comes to mind. Children come to mind.
Yeah, it's very childlike. I mean, most who are with me long enough, they've sensed the innocence. There's very much a playfulness here. Behind the scenes, I'm extremely sarcastic and goofy. Yeah.
I agree. I can subscribe to that. Yeah, but it's true. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
I'm picking up on that. It's the inner child, as they say, right?
Does it?
As if it was away, or like if it goes away.
Right.
Sort of
See,
like,
that's a whole paradigm of experience too, though. The inner child, right? I mean, I get what they're saying at it, but that, you know, there's a distorted twist on that, like it's broken. This inner child is not broken. It's everlasting. You can't take the spirit away from this inner child that we're talking about. It's timeless. So it wasn't born. That's why it can't be stained.
what are you scared of?
Well, I'll tell you what. When Ollie is hormonal, which is my goat, okay, and I'm out there with my kids, and he starts to get in his little head thing, and I can't get to my little one quick enough, fear can arise there. But it's a fear of like what's happening right now. So fear can still arise in my body from like those type of thing. Animal encounters, someone's breathing down my neck in the middle of the night, you know, weird, creepy stuff like that. But I don't have any mental fears. Like there was no fear of talking to you today. There's no fear of any of those types of stuff. But if it's immediate, like a spider's thrown in my face, yeah, I may scream and throw it back at you or something. Or if my goat's charging at me with his horns, I may be like, okay, everyone run, get the baby. And then it's over. You know, it's always from an immediacy of what is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds very like what adjective can, like primal or instinctive
right,
or
right.
Yeah.
Obviously, if your baby's about to get rammed by a goat, move. Adrenaline moves through your body. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what pops up. But other than that, there's no like thinking fear, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Okay.
Weight of the world kind of things. You know, there's a lot to be, I guess, scared of in like a narrative sort of thing.
That's where it always is.
Yeah.
In the narrative, it's a ghost story.
Yeah, which is, frankly, a lot of the media is feeding off, right? Our receptiveness or the willingness even to receive those frequencies. It's like, I don't know, like this like what I can personally share from like my path. It's like I'm just getting less interested in that, in those frequencies.
That's just naturally what happens. You're like, I don't want to turn on the news. I don't want to gossip about that, because you can feel it in your frequency, like oh there, you can feel it.
And to literally like investigate it yourself. It's like, is this true? Byron Katie, is this true?
Right. Yeah.
Is this true?
Right.
And so like it'll be like, I don't know, like demographics change, such and such. We have those kind of like political issues, and they go either to this side or to that side, and then it's just like, okay, again, bringing it back to here, driving around with a camper van, it's just like, okay, the people I'm meeting in the grocery store, like, is this true?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And everybody very nice, actually.
Yeah, nice. Beautiful. That's good. I'm glad.
And and again, throwing the stone, like when somebody's not, I'm like, it's saying so much about them. It's not saying anything about me. It's like, okay, like that's where they're at, and I can love them.
Or not. It's up to you. I mean, in the sense, it's kind of like thought forms. See people like thought forms. We don't have to like, sometimes there's weird thoughts that can float by, right? But we don't stop and go, God. Like, why? I mean, sometimes that happens, but it's the same thing as, oh my gosh, I just spilt my water, guys.
Oops.
Oh no, it's okay. It's totally fine. I'm just gonna go up here.
Yeah.
We're good. It's just water.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's totally fine.
Okay.
It'll soak up. It's fine. And we don't have a rug. We just have concrete on the ground, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Wow, that's a real thing. It's all happening.
I spilt the water, and we're not gonna cry about it. It's okay.
Does fear arise in your butt?
Oh, my butt is wet. That's what's happening, and it's okay. Yeehaw.
What are you proud of?
Oh, well, I have my kids. They're beautiful creatures. They really are. I'm proud of them, both of them. Yeah, they're great teachers. And every day I tell them what gifts they are, because I probably would have been a shallow asshole without them, seriously. Like I said earlier, they helped me grow. They drove me deeper into realization. So, but they're me. That's the beauty of the self, the guru. It's everything. So my kids are my guru too. I mean, everything is guru. Everything is God. Everything is self. Everything is light. So it's a bhakti, it's a devotion, even when they piss me off sometimes, because I know it's driving me deeper and sending me into a more graceful angle. You know what I mean? So that's being in the world and not of it too, having the human experience, feeling like a human, these types of things, but also knowing you're deeply connected to the infinite source. And they are that, and they're not separate.
Really adorable. Like,
thank you.
Yeah. And they're when I was pulling up, like, and you came, like, you were running up the driveway, and then like they were also like there, and it's just like, there's not much of a, like, in the best, how I mean it, like in the best way, there's not much of a difference of like how you navigate life in 3D. Like, it's just
chop wood, carry water. It's just, I know what I am, and I know what this is. So, but I will say, everything it's surreal, and I think that's the biggest hiccup. But when you have this direct experience, you just see it. So, I mean, I'm still changing diapers. I'm still cleaning, doing laundry, things like that. But it is very surreal, and it's dreamlike. It becomes very dreamlike. Yeah, even speaking to you, it's very dreamlike.
Yeah. So, what do dreams then mean to you?
I don't dream at night, and
you don't?
You don't? So, but I would have little bits and pieces, but I never was a big, night dreamer. But I can tell you, there's no difference between what you think you're doing at night and what's appearing here.
Which is, because like the one who is experiencing is the same.
Yeah. This one just obviously, it has a more of like a solidity, visceralness, fleshy warmth than it seems like when we are sleeping, but it's very much the same. And that's what becomes obvious. I'm serious. It becomes so obvious. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I think there's like there's a lot to be learned from what is arising in dreams. Like dreams in the sense of like when you are like laying down your physical body and then things are like appearing and you can actually
lucid dreams. It's the same. Yeah.
So you can actually really, you know, retrace and remember, which is funny because the work, you know, we talked about Sacred Sons before and like the men's movement and all that. Within this work you do, it's all about remembering.
Remembering what though?
Like you're remembering who you are.
So we remember
essence. It's going back to essence, really.
Yeah.
So it's a lot about.
So the same thing.
That's why they're like the teachers and the facilitators and all of how it is set up is heavily influenced by old traditions, by wisdom, by just like ethereal and things that have been around for centuries and just like who have not changed, you know, and who have survived all of the changes of time, you know. So, and that is often what is that? That's grounding. It's being with Pachamama, with Earth, doing ceremonies, whatever. Like there's a lot prayers. There's a lot of like ritual, ceremonial practices that you use to guide the vessel of the body. In that case, with men into this radical presence, which then, as we've further earlier talked about, like which guides men into purpose, which makes them show up better for their partner, their children, their community.
Totally.
So it shows them their place really in the world, and how they can, you know, with me, I have two legs, I have two hands. It's all working more or less fine. That's all the mind. So it's like I'm able to operate and function. I can contribute something, and it's just about like finding a way of surrendering into this, like letting source, God, consciousness, the universe,
you and your awareness,
do the work, you know, and do actually what it's supposed to do without this idea of it. So it's like really and that's why I talk about, or why this was coming up now, is because it's remembering. We talk a lot about in this work about remembering, remembering the old ways, remembering our elders and all our ancestors, and
or just remembering what's already awake, which is your
yourself.
Awareness. Keep it simple, guys. I mean, that works beautiful, but timeless awareness is already awake. Ancestors still keep you in a lineage of time, and it's beautiful. Have respect for that, but realize your perfection is always now in conscious awareness. You're perfect.
That's it.
Because everything else is a belief. We're creating our stories. We're creating our dream right now with this breath. Future is not set in stone. Nothing is, not even the past.
Well, I just wanted to ask you what you are looking forward to.
Tomorrow is Michael, my partner's birthday, and we got this badass cheesecake we're going to eat. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to cheesecake.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And what is it? Apple rings? Apple
rings?
No, the thing you were talking about, the dessert kind of thing?
Oh, apple dumplings.
Dumplings.
Yes.
Apple dumplings.
We're going to a restaurant today that has home-cooked food, and they have these amazing home-cooked apple dumplings. So, yes.
Apple dumplings.
They're good. They're good.
Okay,
if they're not sold out, that is.
Yeah, I can also like apple dumplings. So it's like like the apple is in the dumpling.
Yeah, it's in there, and it's like covered with this cute little lattice thing. It's like almost like a ball shape, and it's good. Not a pie.
Well, I'm here for all of it. Like I've also seen you guys here like frying pickles.
Oh, I don't eat those, but yes, it's a thing. It's a thing. Mm-hmm.
Whole like
I
was like,
try it?
Yeah, I was like clarifying. I'm like, so like pickles in the sense of like the cucumber pickle thing, and they're like, yeah, we fried it. I'm like, okay, that's so American.
Did you eat it? Did you do it? I've never had one. Were they good?
Or
did you chicken out?
No, I mean, it's always. I mean, I don't know. There's like, I don't think there's anything that you could put like in a fryer that doesn't taste good. Like, I don't know. It's like,
I guess that's true.
Like,
you deep fry it good enough, get some ketchup in there.
Yeah. Most of the time, really, it is that way. Like it's
Dip it in ketchup. We're good.
yeah, and ketchup seems to be a big thing as well.
Oh, is ketchup not in Germany?
Yeah, it is.
They do? Ketchup's
yeah,
big,
no, it is in Germany and all that. Heinz, especially.
Heinz.
Yeah. So it is there, but it's just not. I'm associating it a lot with my childhood. Like ketchup. Yeah. Like it's like children love it.
Yeah.
They
hey,
absolutely
I guess I'm a kid.
Is it like? Do you guys like mix mayonnaise and ketchup? Do you do that?
That's gross. But I'm sure somebody does.
We do that. Yeah. We do that.
What do you call that? Is it like?
It's funny how because there's actually literally a name for it, which is called like Schranke, which is like a name for what would be the translation to that? So when there's, for example, like a crossroad with a where there's a train running, and then the pole,
the railroad tracks,
the pole is coming down, right? Yeah. What's that thing called?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So in Germany, those poles that, like, for example, you block roads with or something, or you have in parking lots or something. This thing is called Schranke, and in Germany they are like white and red.
Oh, so it's like the mayonnaise.
Exactly, and when you mix the mayonnaise and the ketchup, you say Pommes Schranke, which means like fries.
Interesting.
And this word, so because it's red and white.
You learn something new every day.
You do. So, this is, America has been treating me well. I gotta say.
Awesome. I'm glad.
Treating me well. And you see, that's actually the thing. Like, if I was to listen to another experience, like outside of myself and of the mind, especially the mind, this trip would be completely different. I probably would not even have embarked on this trip, and, knowing what the media says about the US and what's going on. And then like I'm coming here and I'm just like, it's
opposite experience.
Yeah, it's just
it's beautiful.
Consciousness and humans connecting with each other, really.
Consciousness appearing as humans.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So consciousness appearing as humans and me connecting with that, with myself and all of that.
That's all it is, man. We're just light dancing with each other. I know. It's so convincing with the flesh suits.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But that's part of the play. That's part of the fun of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the different shapes and sizes that this bodysuit can take on.
And the sounds, like your accent's different, and that's cool. I mean, that's interesting. It's beautiful.
Yeah, your children, they were like, he sounds different.
Yeah, it's a little early. We'll just blink at him right now. Cute.
But I would say I don't have the thickest German accent, I'm assuming. Like, it would be a little bit like a mix between German
light.
Australian.
It's a German light.
Australian is in there and all sorts of other things. But yeah, that's a different story.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm feeling into. Yeah, just like I'm honored and I'm grateful to have, met a different aspect, I guess, of you in this interview, and we'll continue to do so hopefully today, and just bathe in this 3D experience right now. So thank you for the trust also that comes along with that.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, I'm here, as you said, it's like a first here.
Yeah, first podcast interview at my home. So, I was busy making babies for a little bit, but yeah, here we are. So it's exciting. Cheers.
That's it. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I have one more question, which is like, what are you currently learning that you haven't been, like, something that you have not been able to do prior, and now that you're learning it?
Well, gosh, I'm learning how to, in a way, put this garage together. I mean, obviously it's with help, but this is completely new for me. You could say this is a learning experience. Like, I don't know anything about conversions or anything like that, but it's beautiful, and I'm learning through the process, and I'm growing naturally, and it's moving into a new chapter where beings are going to come, and we're going to hang out here and revel and celebrate in our splendor. So
can we talk about this real quick?
Sure.
Like, so it's what needs to happen? What is needed
Here? Yeah. So we're getting the water lines hooked up. It's a slow moving process. I'm in a village, so there's no like actual water department that you can call. There's a water department, but everything's like by foot, and it's a little bit slower moving process. But we're in the slow moving process of getting the where we got to dig basically for the water lines. We need a toilet, we need sewer and water hooked up here. And then basically getting, like furniture and a snack station and things like that. But there's been so many beings who have donated so far. So thank you guys so much. I love you. I bless you. Thank you. Thank you. So we're doing so well. It's really coming together. And even if it's halfway done, it's going to grow you know what I mean? Like it's going to grow as we come together. So I'm not worried about it.
So what do you think, like talking time?
By spring.
Time is an illusion?
Shooting for spring for the first meeting. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it looks great.
It's cozy. It's going to be
cozy.
intimate. It's going to be cozy, but that was the whole point. I want to be intimate. Yeah.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly will be.
I want it to be like a coffee shop feel, like, like you're in your living room, comfortable,
Yeah, and you will. Yeah, I'm 100% positive that you can facilitate that in here. And yeah, do you get snow here in winter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get snow. But it's not like Colorado or something, or Wyoming. But yeah, it'll get chilly.
That could even be more exciting.
Snow.
Yeah. And
guys, we're going to take a snowball fight break. We'll be back. It's time for an intermission.
Well, not yet. Yeah, now it's just like
right.
the fall color's beautifully changing, and it's like unusually warm.
It is. It's going to be almost 80 today, but it's great for the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Got the door open.
Yeah,
breeze
it
coming
is.
in. It's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I appreciate
It's been an honor.
You.
Yeah.
Same. And you're always welcome in Germany. I mean it.
All right.
I mean it. Like I've met so many beautiful souls on this trip, so I'm really like I wanna facilitate a space within my home to facilitate that.
Cool.
With you, you're gonna be 4, so let's see.
4 in your home.
Yeah. I'll make it. We'll make it work. And yeah, so there's lots to see in Germany.
Oh, I bet. I've never been there, so I'll let you know if I ever decide to go over there. Yeah, as my kids get a little older.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Really.
Yeah.
Would be an honor.
Show me around.
Return the favor.
Yeah,
Thank you so
amazing.
much, Anna.
Thank you, and thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, love you.
Blessings. Okay. Thank you.